Namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Welcome. This morning, we're going to be talking about the pineal gland and the blue pearl and awakening the Kundalini within us, because this is the time of the Great Awakening. And as we come into these energies, and right now we're still in the midst of the Lion's Gate. It lasts through the end of August. So we're still in the midst of Lion's Gate. So we want to get to that point where we're tapping into those higher energies. In order to do that, we need to tap into what is called our higher soul. And the gate to that is through the pineal gland and activating the Kundalini and having it raise up. So as we get started, we'll go through. I hope everybody got their papers, and we'll go through the order of service, and then we'll begin. Okay. So I will say an opening prayer. We thank you, Father, Mother God, for this great and wonderful privilege to be here together. We ask that the healing angels, the guides, the loved ones, the teachers, the holy ones, the masters, the gurus, the great ones, the holy angels, archangels, spiritual helpers, and our designated healing angels to come forth and work and speak through us, to give us inspiration, upliftment, guidance, healing, divine protection, divine blessings, divine love, and peace and harmony in our hearts. We thank you again, Father, Mother God, for this great and wonderful privilege to be here together today, to celebrate this marvelous day, and to join together as a cosmic family to raise the vibration for ourselves and all of the earth, ascending into the higher fifth dimensional frequency of love. So be it, so be it, so be it, and so it is. Amen, 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 and amen. Well, it is a beautiful day today, isn't it? And we will start out with the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer also activates the chakras. Each verse of the Lord's Prayer has activation on different chakras. Our Father, which art in heaven, is the crown chakra. Hallowed be thy name is the ajna, which is between the eyes and the throat chakra. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done is the heart chakra. On earth as it is in heaven is the navel, the front and back solar plexus. Give us this day our daily bread is the front and back spleen. And then give us and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors is the Meng chakra, which is directly behind the navel. And lead us not into temptation is the back, heart, crown, sex chakra, and throat, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, is our basic or our root chakra. And the power is the front and back spleen. The glory is the Meng, and forever is the crown. So we will state that Lord's Prayer. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the glory forever. Amen. Now, on the second sheet, we have a translation of the Lord's Prayer. It was from, I believe, Aramaic. Okay, so we'll repeat that too. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, Soften the ground of our being and pour out within us a space where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let us, our actions bear fruit in accordance to our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each of us needs to grow and flourish. Unite the entangled threads of destiny that binds us as we release others from the entangled of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by which will divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment, for you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, the power, and the fulfillment as all is gathered and made whole once again. It says here, for you, which is God, the divine, are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, the power, and the fulfillment as all is gathered and made whole once again. What do you think about making yourself whole? What does that involve? Okay, think about that for 1 minute. Become conscious of what that is. It's reuniting yourself with the divine spark. The higher soul, the divine spark comes down and manifests the higher soul. Then the higher soul is connected to the body through the spiritual cord. The higher soul comes down and creates the incarnated, manifests the incarnated soul. When we come into earth, those things are not separate, are they? How did we get separated from our higher soul? You ever watch a baby, how joyful and how clean and beautiful the energy is, because they're totally connected. Okay, we lose connection through programming, through negative things that happen to us, to traumas, through feeling less than, through not recognizing that we are the divine and we are connected to the divine through our higher soul. And so when we reconnect to the higher soul and really concentrate on it and build on that, and how you build on that is to strengthen that spiritual cord. So more of the divine energy can come from the higher soul down into the incarnated soul, where we then are guided, divinely guided. Because we're so connected that we know exactly what we should be doing and where we should be at all times. Now, sometimes because we're human, we forget, don't we? We forget who we are and we forget to connect. We forget to do meditation, or we forget that we are the divine within us, that we are the kingdom, we have the kingdom within us. We forget. And we allow the things on the lower energy to affect us in a negative way. And that's not a sin, it's not a mistake. We learn through those things. We learn that if we're not connected all the time and not divinely guided all the time, that our lives can get kind of messy, can't they? I know I've messed mine up a few times. So it is really important to always affirm and to invocate that you're connected to the higher soul. So the next thing in the order of service is the I am affirmation. What does that do? That connects you with your higher soul. It gives you that opening of the spiritual cord and allows more energy to come in from the higher soul to the incarnated soul. And then we start to feel that connection. So we get off of that emotional roller coaster, which is peaks and valleys. We've been on that roller coaster before, haven't we? And we get on to what I like to call the universal wave. Yes, we have ups and downs, but it's more like a wave and not a peak and valley. And that will keep us from, really connecting to our divine soul if we're riding that emotional roller coaster all the time. When you truly heal from trauma, it's when you have no more emotion attached to it. You can think about that trauma and it's just something that happened, but there's nothing attached to it any longer. And that's where I find my peace. And I know that that's where you'll find your peace too, because through forgiveness and detaching the emotion to anything that has happened to you, then you release that emotional attachment, the energetic attachment, and you start connecting again to your higher soul, to your divine self, and you walk in peace and in love. You don't have to give them their love, but you need to send God's love to them, divine love to them. And you don't like the things that people do sometimes, or situations that you're in, and it's painful to you, makes you feel sad or angry. But when we learn to connect to our higher soul, we realize that these people are just being themselves. They're not doing anything to us unless we allow that. And once you get connected stronger and stronger to that higher soul, that inner peace, that divineness within you, you can look at them just like it's a stage play. And they're acting out their part. And then we go to this wonderful thing of willingness, awareness, and choice. Choice. I have a choice as to get involved and react or not. I have that choice. Lots of times you have to stand back and take a deep breath, don't you? Before you make that choice. Because you can feel the feelings or the emotion rise up inside of you, and you want to lash out, or you want to cause them pain because you feel like they've caused you pain. But when you really, really connect, you can stand back and send them love and forgiveness and disconnect. And when you're disconnected, guess what? You're in peace. Okay? So let's say the I am affirmation. I am that I am. I am that I am. I am not the body. I am not the emotions. I am not the thoughts. I am not the mind. The mind is only a subtle instrument of the soul. I am the soul. I am a spiritual being of divine intelligence, divine love, divine power. I am one with my higher soul. I am that I am. I am one with the divine spark. I am a child of God. I am connected with God. I am one with God. I am one with all. So when you really, really feel that you are one with all, you can understand that you're even one with the person or the situation that is bugging the crap out of you, And you can say, that's just a lower energy. I don't have to connect to that. And how do we get rid of, how do we release that? Forgiveness. Simple and plain forgiveness. Okay? How important is forgiveness? Forgiveness is one of the most key things that we do, because when we can include forgiving others, we must include forgiving ourselves. Okay? We make mistakes, but it's not about the mistake. It's what do you do with that mistake? How do you connect to your higher self if you're punishing yourself or carrying guilt or feeling, that you're not worthy. You can't, because that's not the right vibration, is it? When we raise our vibration, we have to do purification. Purifications of our thought, word, and deed. Purification of all the things that are not of our divine source. Purification. So when we do purification, we forgive ourselves, don't we? And it's hard to forgive yourself sometimes. I've had issues with that. It's not easy to look at yourself in the mirror some days and say, I love you, because you don't feel it always. But the more you practice connecting with your higher soul and activating the Kundalini energy and bringing that peace into your incarnated soul as it is connected to the higher soul, your spiritual cord widens. As most people's spiritual cord, ordinary people, it can be as thin as a hair. Okay, that's pretty small, isn't it? Then people that are religious or practice some sort of religion, it becomes the size of your pinky finger. But when you're doing meditation, connecting to the higher soul, raising your vibration up, doing forgiveness, living in gratitude, what happens? The spiritual cord becomes absolutely a tube. Okay? If you've seen very high spiritual people, you can notice their light is all around them. That's their spiritual cord. It's connecting them to the higher soul, which is connected to the divine. The higher soul steps down the divine energy, because if we allowed all of that energy from the divine to come into us, it'd blow us up, like plugging a toaster into a transformer, because that energy is too strong. That's why, as we go on this spiritual path and we want to awaken the Kundalini, we want to awaken and connect with the higher soul, we want to have these 7 layers of spiritual development. It takes time. Be very cautious about how you awaken yourself. Don't think that you're going to do it tomorrow and all of a sudden you're a guru or you're a high spiritual teacher, because that doesn't happen, and you'll blow yourself up. Your spiritual cord isn't ready for that, is it? So how do we get there? We do forgiveness. We empower ourselves with the higher soul. We do forgiveness, meditation, gratitude, all of those things, and live a good life. You have to be responsible for your thoughts, words, and actions. That's what they call consciousness, awareness, awakening. How am I conducting myself? Is it in a high spiritual manner, or am I throwing a fit because I didn't get what I wanted? Okay, or do I live in my trauma? Am I looking through my wounds in order to live through this life? Am I carrying a victim pattern or a wounded child pattern? Look closely. We have to become aware and conscious of what we are doing. So let's do the joy of forgiveness. It's on the next page. I am flooding my being and every cell etheric record since the beginning of time with the joyful experience of divine forgiveness. For forgiving, I let go of all the effects and misused energy impinging on my life and the lives of all humanity. I let go of the ignorance, confusion, and pain of the world. I now know I have come to love life free, and so I shall. This is the heart center of my existence, the joy of forgiving life as it enters my awareness. From this moment forward, I am setting all life free into a higher vibration with the gift of forgiveness that my Father, Mother, God have given so freely into my keeping. I am a force of the violet flame of forgiveness, flooding this sweet, sweet earth. I am joy of forgiveness. I am the joy of forgiveness. I am the joy of forgiveness. I don't know about all of you, but when I say that, I feel that joy rise up inside of me. And I feel it for all humanity. Because as light workers, we came here not only for a mission for ourselves, but we came here to hold the light and help the whole world and all humanity transform into a beautiful heaven on earth existence. And as we live that and do our work, our inner work, and bring forth the energy and the delight of forgiveness and the joy of gratefulness, we are raising the vibration within us. And as we do that, we hold a higher vibration for the earth and all beings on it. So you are affecting other people as you do your inner work. It's an inside job, isn't it? You know, we can't go outside and do that. You can't look around and say, oh, I'm going to do that for David. I'm going to do that for Hannah. No, you do it for yourself, and then you bless each person with your presence of that higher vibration. And then you become a blessing to yourself and to others. And as you pass that on and share it, it grows. Just laughter. When you hear babies laugh, how do you feel? Okay. When you smile at somebody on the street, you may just change their lives. They may be down in the dumps so bad that they forgot how to smile. And you smiled at them and reminded them. When you spread the love, when you live in love, you affect 700,000 other vibrations around you. Isn't that empowering? Aren't you doing your work? And you know something? They have a jubilee on the other side. All the masters, all the teachers, all the divine ones, they are having a party for you. Let me tell you, they're so excited that we said, I'll go down there and work. As Reverend Sharon Elizabeth says, we're the boots on the ground. Okay? We'll do our work, but how do we do our work? We don't go to other people to do our work. We go here within us, because that's where everything is. Everything, everything, everything. So as we do that, we start to invoke different energies, right? So, and the next thing is invoking the violet flame. So we'll go there and say this 3 times. Transmute by the violet fire, all causes and cores not of God's desire. I am a being of cause alone, that causes love, the sacred tone. Transmute by violet fire, all causes and cores of God's desire. I am a being of cause alone, that causes love, the sacred tone. Transmute by violet fire, all causes and cores not of God's desire. I am a being of cause alone, that causes love, the sacred tone. When we start invoking things into our life, the universe doesn't know the difference between negative or positive, does it? Has no clue. You start invoking and complaining and bitching and moaning and whatever, the universe says, right, that's what you're invoking. So what do you get in return? That negative back. But when you start to wake up in the morning and say, thank you, let me be divinely guided through this day, you're invoking that. When you invoke the violet flame or forgiveness or gratitude, what happens then? You're bringing that beautiful energy and locking it in to the incarnated soul, through the higher soul, down through the spiritual cord. The spiritual cord then becomes widened. The more you invoke the positive, the more you connect, your spiritual cord will widen. I know some spiritual teachers that I've studied under, and let me tell you something, their spiritual cord took up the whole room. Because they practice every day, they live wholesome and good lives, right? And they do their service, they do their inner work. Just by doing your inner work, you're doing a service to all humanity. But just think, if you go farther beyond that, when you've done your inner work, to extend that out, it grows and grows and grows. Negative can grow too, can't it? But how does it affect you? How does it affect the world? We have to remember, whatever we say, think, and do affects cause and effect. It's a natural law, and the law of attraction. Okay, so be conscious. Consciousness is of utmost importance right now, especially right now, as I said before, we're still in the Lionsgate energy. The Lionsgate energy is open so much to us to raise our vibration, to bring in more spiritual energy to help us manifest. We're manifesting 24/7. Is all of your thoughts the things you want to manifest? Or do you have some nasty ones you need to kick out? I do. You know, so be more conscious. Okay, let's say the great invocation, because we are going to have, we're invoking for the world to be a better place. From the point of light within the mind of God, light descends on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, love streams forth into the hearts of men. Christ consciousness returns to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, purpose guides the little will of men. The purpose which the masters know and serve. From the center which we call the race of men, the plan of love and light works out and seals the door where evil dwells. Light, love, and power restores the plan on earth, the divine plan. Now let's say 3 times, God's will is my will. 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 And if you just close your eyes a minute, we're going to talk about gratitude, and we'll invoke gratitude. Beloved Father, Mother God, from the glorious heart I came into being, and into your loving heart one day, when my service here on earth is through, I shall return. I thank you for the privilege of having life and of having a physical embodiment during this sacred time when the permanent golden age of spiritual freedom is being established on earth. I thank you for the gift of transmutation through the power of the violet transmuting flame. The amazing gift through which all that is not of the light and that I myself and others have created, consciously or unconsciously, shall be purified and returned to light. I thank you for sustaining through the legions of the ascended flame, the open door through which this sweet earth and all life evolving upon her shall return home. To this end, I know, individually and collectively, as a surrogate on behalf of all humanity, offer my energies, my individual life stream as the Holy Grail, through which the light of creation will now flow, and to fulfill the immaculate conception of the divine plan for this blessed planet. Assist me, beloved Father, Mother God, to harmonize my outer self, my physical self, my etheric self, my mental self, and my emotional body. Through the grace of transfiguring divine love invested in me with the power of the to magnetize and radiate the presence of divinity with every word, thought, action, and feeling I express from this moment forward. And so it is, my beloved I am. Amen, 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 and amen. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the spiritual cord and the higher soul. As I said before, the higher soul extends down, manifesting the incarnated soul. The spiritual cord connects the higher soul and the incarnated soul. If the spiritual cord gets disconnected, the soul is a lost soul. And in Matthew 16:26, for what does it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? So you can have material wealth, can't you? And you can have a lot of things. But if you have lost connection with your higher soul and you feel like you're a lost soul or you are a lost soul, you haven't gained much of anything, because we can't take the material with us, can we? What we do take with us as we leave this earthly body is how far we've come on the spiritual path. So, children that are born with great gifts or spiritual teachers at the age of 5. Why is that? Because that soul gained a lot of knowledge and a lot of wisdom and went higher on the spiritual path before it left this earth. And as it comes back with all those things. So most of us are working through life and in remembrance of how far we came. We've forgotten to some extent. But through these new energies, and the energies that are so powerful right now, and especially during the month of August through the Lion's Gate, they're so powerful. We're able to really connect with that higher soul and remember who we really are. And as we do that, our soul continues to vibrate at a higher vibration, okay, and bring those things back. How a soul gets disconnected is through actions like hatefulness, anger, living in trauma, holding on to things emotionally, or stealing, or blaming people. Okay, we've all know those things, but as I said before, when we disconnect from those things, our soul reconnects, our spiritual cord gets longer. And through sincere repentance and trying to live as a better person, asking for divine guidance and forgiveness, it is possible for a lost soul to reconnect, to spiritually reconnect. Now, I don't think anybody in here is a lost soul. Don't get me wrong. I'm just telling you, as you know, you've seen that happen with people around you, and be aware of what lessons those people are teaching you. Okay? As Jesus said on the cross, forgive them, for they know not what they do. I mean, people are running around and they're not conscious of even their own actions, are they? But as we are on our spiritual path, we need to be conscious. What are we saying? What are we thinking? What are we doing? What kind of energies are we interacting with, and where do we want to take those energies, and how far do we want to advance in this lifetime. Okay, they know not what they do because they're unconscious. So we have been given wonderful gifts, right? We've been given choice. In order to activate that choice, though, in a positive way, we have to be willing, aware, and then we can make those choices on a higher plane, a higher vibration. Also, Jesus said, what comes out of your mouth is more important than what goes in. Why is that? Because what did I just say? Everything that comes out of your mouth is powerful. You're invoking something into the universe. The universe will give that back to you. So if you're bitching, moaning, and complaining, guess what? You might get some crap back thrown back at you, right? So what does what goes in dirties the body, but what comes out dirties the soul if it's not clean. So we have to remember to live in love and forgiveness, don't we? And we have to hold ourselves at a higher vibration and look at people when you think they've harmed you or done something to you. Remember, they're just being themselves. That's none of your concern unless you allow it. So when you become more conscious, you get to have a higher vibration. You get the choice of having a higher vibration and to let these things affect you or not affect you. And as we do meditation for the soul realization, it makes the spiritual cord thicker, doesn't it? Okay, meditating every day is sometimes not possible, is it? We live busy lives. But if you take 5 minutes of silence, just as you come and get connected in the morning, just as you wake up, just take 5 minutes and connect with the divine spark, the higher soul. See your spiritual cord starting to get bigger and bigger as you do, because meditating is the key, and finding stillness and purification and raising the Kundalini. What's the use of Kundalini energy in a spiritual practice? The Kundalini energy enables the brain cells to register spiritual or higher experiences and stimuli. The quality of the physical body, especially the brain and the nervous system, is improved and upgraded. After a certain period of time, a person whose Kundalini is highly awakened may become a genius, a great charismatic leader, or a great spiritual teacher. What is the Kundalini? It's what they call the sacred fire. It is located at the base of the spine. It is also called the fiery serpent, for it comes up the spine and connects with the higher energy. Now, common people have a certain degree of Kundalini activated. But as you become on your spiritual cord, you want to activate it a little bit more. The more you activate it, the higher degrees you become in that Kundalini awakening, and you awaken up the serpent. And that's why in Egypt, the awakening of the Kundalini was depicted as a serpent. And in this one, it's the 7 levels of Kundalini energy, and it's depicted as serpents around the head. Okay? But do we just go, okay, I'm going to activate my my Kundalini and I'm set. Don't think so. You might blow yourself up. Okay. A person whose Kundalini is highly awakened may become a genius, a great charismatic leader, or a great spiritual teacher. What happens with the Kundalini? When the Kundalini is awakened, it acts like a fertilizer to positive or negative qualities. So we have to be a little cautious about how we're waking our Kundalini, don't we? The Kundalini is like a fertilizer. What does that mean? It means it grows whatever energy you activate it with. If you're activating your Kundalini and you decide you're going to murder your neighbor, guess what? It's going to become stronger. So you might kill more than one neighbor, right? Okay, so we have to activate the Kundalini with the spiritual energy, the divine energy. We activate the Kundalini the proper way, through meditation, through activating the higher soul. And how do we do that? We go through meditation through the pineal gland. That is where your blue pearl, your conscious energy, your higher conscious energy resides, is in your blue pearl. That's the gateway to higher spiritual levels. So you want to meditate. And when I did my practice with pranic healing, we only did Kundalini activation once a week. You don't go in there and activate the serpent, the fiery serpent, every day, or you will get a problem. You'll run into what is called Kundalini syndrome. Kundalini syndrome is then you become highly activated, but it also can cause you to be angry at everybody, irritated at everybody if you do too much. So a slow and steady pace. You don't find a yogi that's totally soul realized that hasn't been doing it for a few years. Why? Because you have to activate the Kundalini, activate and stretch out and make the spinal cord bigger, or the spiritual cord bigger, not spinal cord, the spiritual cord bigger, so you can bring more energy down into the incarnated soul. The Kundalini rises and connects with the spiritual energy. Guess what? Divine spark, the fiery serpent, and the spiritual energy from the higher soul, divine spark. Okay, you become higher. But if your spiritual cord is the size of a hair, what you think is going to happen when that Kundalini rises? It's going to be negative, not positive. So we have to be very careful how we do this. Just a minute, something happened on that. Oh, shoot. I thought the battery was plugged in. Here, it's right here on the ground. Oh, how'd that happen? There we go. Okay. Now it's back. Thank you. Okay, so the physical body and the energy body must be cleansed and purified to activate the Kundalini. Okay. Once awakened to the higher degree, then the energy can flow through without any blockages. So if you're holding on to trauma in your energy body, that Kundalini energy cannot move through the body. If you're holding on to an abuse situation when you were a child, it's a blockage, an energy blockage. So we have to do physical and energetic cleansing or purification. It is important that one must practice inner purification regularly through character building. What does that mean? That means that you live a wholesome, kind, loving, beautiful existence when you're here on earth. That you live that divine being that you are. This is done by developing through virtues and removing the vices of our inner weaknesses. We all have inner weaknesses, don't we? We forget how to love ourselves. We forget how to love others. We get angry, or we do crazy things, or we have negative thoughts. Well, that's a blockage for the energy also, isn't it? Okay, the third thing is the higher chakras, especially the heart and the crown, must be activated first before awakening the Kundalini energy. Okay? How do you awaken your heart chakra and your crown chakra? Well, there's a thing in pranic healing called twin hearts meditation that I've practiced for many years, but also activating is through meditation. Activate your heart, send love out to your loved ones. This is your personal heart. This is your universal heart. Activate your universal heart by sending love to the world and all beings on it. That's how we activate things. The similarities between the traditions will help you to understand spiritual truths through the universal perspective. It is not one culture. From this, you can see that truth is universal. Just as the law of gravity is not English, or the spiritual truths, they don't belong to one single culture. Okay, so in my process, as I've come along, I don't just think about a Christian way. I've looked at many different religions. And when you go to the higher part of those religions or those spiritual beliefs, they're all the same. They're all the same. So we don't do that. The Holy Spirit is the Christian one. The descent of the Holy Spirit is raising of the Kundalini energy. The Holy Spirit is the spiritual energy, while the sacred fire is the Kundalini energy located at the base of the spine. The Shiva and the Shakti unite, or when the Holy Spirit and the sacred fire unite, the spiritual energy awakens the Kundalini energy and brings it up to the crown, resulting in a spiritual illumination or an expansion of consciousness. Well, I'm ready for that. I don't know about the rest of you. It sounds pretty good to me, right? So, inner purification. As you purify yourself thoroughly, your incarnated soul will be able to function at a higher level. And the consciousness of consciousness until it can unite with your higher soul. Okay? So you purify your thoughts, your words, your actions, your deeds that you do. And then it prepares the body to receive the energy from the higher soul and connect. And it also helps stretch out that spiritual cord, so you're receiving that energy. Okay. The Om mantra has a purifying effect and helps the consciousness shift to a higher level. By regularly chanting the mantra Om, it is possible to purify the incarnated body thereby resulting in the union with the higher soul. So as we go into the meditation in a little while, I will be playing the Om chant. And I personally have a CD of Om that lots of times I just play 24/7 on my CD player. I play it in my house because it actually purifies the energies in you and in your environment. When we're chanting the names of God, it does the same thing. You play chants of the names of God in your house becomes a sanctuary. And the people that walk in the house go, oh, this is lovely in here. I've had it happen in my house. I have statues of angels and I play the Oms, I play the names of God, I do readings, I connect with spirit in my home. And people walk into my house and they, oh, I love the energy here. Why? Because it's peaceful. I did that. This is a funny story. I went into the hospital a few years back. I had a blood clot in my leg, and it was pretty extensive blood clot. It went from my ankle to my groin. So they put me in the hospital right away. And they said they were going to have to do surgery the next day when they popped me into the hospital room. And they put me on an IV, and I was comfortable in there, and I asked all my beautiful cosmic family to pray for me. And I did a lot of prayer, some chanting. I put the Oms on in the hospital room. Next day they came in and said, you don't have to have surgery. It's dissipating on its own. Hallelujah, thank God. But there was a nurse that came into the room that day. And she was on the next day too. And she came into the room and we chatted a little bit and I had the Oms playing. And she liked it. She says, oh, it's so peaceful in here. How many people say that a hospital room is peaceful? Give me a break. I said, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of praying and playing the Oms. So the next day, here comes the nurse. She says, it's my break time. I said, oh, wonderful. And she goes, can I sit in the room with you while I have my break? It's so wonderful in here. Don't think that you don't affect other people's lives. Okay. That day made her day because of the stress that she was in, because they were understaffed. And she came in and found some peace, even if it was for a half an hour. She found peace. How do you affect other people's lives? Be aware. Okay. So the Om works, because if I can get a room in a hospital room to feel like it's peaceful, that's a pretty big feat, I think. Don't you all? Okay. Be still and know that I am God. By practicing stillness, one becomes aware of the divine presence, not only within oneself. One also becomes aware of the pervading presence of the divine. You don't only become aware of your own presence within you. You become aware of the presence outside of you and how it's vibrating outside of you. Of course, you're adding to that vibration, aren't you? Because when we vibrate, remember, if you vibrated at love, you're affecting 700,000 other vibrations around you. You affect the flowers and the trees and the birds and the bees, right? We affect everything around us. So don't think you yourself is doing anything, but or not doing anything by being the beautiful person that you are and where you're resonating at, because you're affecting everything in this thing we call life on earth. We are consciously adding to the collective consciousness with love. And guess what? When I see it intuitively, I've been looking at the collective conscious for a long time, intuitively. It looked, when I first started looking, was around 1972. It looked like a brick black to me, and it was gray. And now the shade has lessened. It's becoming lighter in the color. And it looks like crumbling on the edges, like a brick crumbling. So we are affecting the collective consciousness. And the more we raise our vibration, the more we stand in our own trueness, the more we affect that collective consciousness too. By meditating on the seat of consciousness, or the blue pearl, which is right behind in your pineal gland, right behind your Ajna chakra. This is your Ajna chakra. This is your third eye up here. This is your Ajna chakra, okay? By meditating on the blue pearl, one can come in contact with the higher soul and will have access to inner worlds or inner universes. What great beings and teachers from who one came received priceless teachings and blessings. I can assure you, as me being as much meditation that I have done, as much things that I have done in my spiritual path, I've received great blessings. I've received great teachings. I've had visions of great masters. Jesus, Buddha, all these great masters, they are waiting, and that's what the Cosmic Center is connected with, the masters. The ascended masters are waiting for us just to say, hi, hello, how are you today? Because I need your help. But we are not going to get the help unless we surrender and trust, unless we connect and realize the divinity within us. Like I said, it is an inside job, people. And the more we work on this, the more this becomes a better place. And all of our connection to this outside of us becomes better. And we're no longer on that emotional roller coaster. I don't like that roller coaster. It doesn't help me in any way, shape, or form. But I get caught up in it once in a while, especially when someone really gets one of my trigger points. Then the dragon lady wants to come out and burn. But we have to control that, don't we? We don't give up control to our emotions. We give up control to our divineness. And when we're divinely guided, we can be so guided even down to the apple we pick in the store. And honey, that's the way I want to live. Right? That is the way I want to live. And hopefully all of you want to live in a place of peace and love, serenity and beauty, and see the beauty and all that is in front of you. Our beautiful nature, our beautiful people that are here. You can look into their eyes and see the soul, see the divine spark within them. What does namaste mean? When you go namaste to somebody, it says, I see the divinity within you. You recognize the divinity within yourself when you look out and see it in somebody else. So you're blessing yourself and that other person. That's a win-win in my book. Right? Okay. So as we have talked about, meditating on the higher soul or the divine spark, or are connecting with the higher soul. We meditate on the pineal gland, the blue pearl. The blue pearl is your higher consciousness. It holds everything in there. It's kind of like your own personal Akashic records inside yourself. And it can be activated, and you get what's called the Shakti pad, an awakening. And when that happens, it's pretty special. I've had a couple in my day, and it's like, boom, wow, the light shot through me. I went one time when I lived in Maryland. We went to this Catholic church, and there was a priest that was very well known for his healing ability. So we went, and he did service, and then he had people come up, and they had catchers behind the people. And I'm like, what? Nah, that can't be right. I'm not going to the ground. Nothing can do that to me. Are you kidding me? I don't need any catcher behind me. Blah, blah, blah. My mind is going, right? So we walked up, and they had a couple other priests besides this priest. And they put you in line in front of one of the priests. And I was like, nope. I didn't want to be in front of that priest. I wanted the one that I knew had the gift, right? So I went and stood in front of the other one because they put me there. Nothing. I didn't feel anything. He went like this. Nothing. I didn't feel anything. So I snuck back around and got in front of the priest that I knew had the gift. I'm like, no, you can't determine what I came here for, because I'm going to get what I want, right? So I walked up, the priest touched my head right here, right on my Ajna chakra, right where my pineal gland was. It was like a bolt of lightning shot through me, and I was on the ground before you knew it.
Oh, how funny. No catcher?
The catcher was there, but I went down faster than he could catch. I was on the ground, and it went just like this, right through my pineal gland, and I felt the light come down, and it went all the way down my spine into my legs, and my feet and legs became rubber. And I was on the floor. Nobody was more shocked than I was, because I couldn't move for a few minutes. I laid on that floor. But let me tell you something. I had a gallbladder problem at that particular time. And it hurt. And I was having pain. And if I ate greasy foods, oof, it lit it up like nobody's business. And that was gone. Right then and there. But the other thing that happened was I became more enlightened. I had love for myself, which was a hard thing for me. Because when I grew up, I was as tall as I am right now in 8th grade. And I was big girl. I have the size hands of a man. I wear a size 12 shoe. I wore 11 in 8th grade. And do you think at that time I could even find shoes? We had to drive to Des Moines, Iowa and get shoes for me. And they looked like old lady shoes. I couldn't even find tennis shoes in my size. Because at that time, 10 was the highest size they ever made women's shoes in. So I didn't have a really positive look about myself. And I got teased and bullied. And even my father said things to me about being overweight and teased me. So what I realized when I was 40 years old, it took me that long, that the broken record and the program that was running around in my head was, you're too fat to be loved. But after that Shakti part, it was no longer that way. And I learned how to love myself. Okay. So there are wonderful miracles that happen in this world when we connect with our divinity and we open up to that beautiful energy of the pineal gland. That's our doorway to divinity. So I'm going to sit now and we're going to do a guided meditation from my divine being while I play the ohms. So everybody get relaxed, get your feet on the floor, have your hands free, and let's get to it. As we come together, we say to ourselves, I truly, deeply, completely and permanently accept the divine energy that is being brought into our incarnated souls through the higher soul. So be it, so be it, so be it. Let us now take a deep breath within, from the crown to the heart, and activate the crown and the heart and release. Breathing in that divine energy to the crown, from the crown, activating the crown and into the heart. And release. And as we release from the heart, we send out pink love around the world. See the world in front of you, the beautiful earth in front of you, and all the beings. As you breathe in from your crown into your heart, and send out pink light from your heart around the earth. And see it sparking the divine within each and every being upon this earth. Divine spark. You're activating their divine spark through their crown and their heart. We go now to the middle of the forehead, or between the eyes. And we see deep inside of the head, the pineal gland, and focus on that place inside your mind. Focus on that spot. Go where the pineal gland is, the blue pearl. Focus on that. Some of you may see a round, small ball. Others may not, but go to the middle of your head, across from your ears, from ear to ear, from your crown down to your heart, there is a cross. And that is where the pineal gland lies. So go between your eyes into where that cross is and find that place. As you find that place, you go deep inside that place. And you'll find an amazing feeling of peace. Find that beautiful feeling of peace. Feel that beautiful feeling of peace, embracing every particle of your soul, of your energy bodies, and of your physical body. Feel yourself being embraced in that peace. Know that that's the open door to the divinity within you. That it opens wide the door to connect with the higher soul through the spiritual cord, and feel that expanding. And you feel the energy of the spiritual cord expanding and allowing the energy of the higher soul, which is connected to the divine, to filter down and flow down into the pineal gland. The blue pearl. Awaken the blue pearl. Feel the peace and the power within. For it is your direct entrance to the divine spark and the higher soul. As you feel that place within your blue pearl, you realize that the energy now is going down into the heart chakra. And you feel your heart chakra expanding with beautiful pink light. Expanding out, out, out. And it's expanding out around your body, into your aura. This beautiful pink aura becomes so crystalline bright as you feel the love for yourself and others growing, 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 expanding, expanding, expanding. You feel the spark of the higher soul as it comes down through the spiritual cord into the blue pearl, activating the crown chakra, going down and activating the heart chakra. Raise your hands in the blessing position and see the world in front of you as a small ball. And you send out beautiful pink light to the world. Blessing all beings upon it. No, it's sending out to the world love. Where there is hate, let there be love. Where there is hopelessness, let there be hope. Where there's injustice, let there be justice. Where there is conflict and war, let there be peace. Know that every particle of your divine spark has effect on every particle of the world and all beings on it. As you direct that love to the earth. Now, as you relax your hands down into your lap, You feel the energy encompassing you. The divine energy, the beautiful pink aura that you have awakened within you. And you feel the divine ones, the holy masters, the teachers, the gurus, the great ones gather around you. And they fill your aura up with the divine presence of their energy. And you feel it like a great hug. The warmth, the compassion, the love, and the peace. The peace that you have activated within yourself connects you so much into the higher soul, connects you with the higher soul, which is connected to the divine spark, the God presence, the spark of God. As you feel this beautiful energy flowing through every cell of your body and every bit of your consciousness, every particle of your being and your energy body, as you feel it vibrating through everything that you have, you feel that connection with the divine spark. You feel that you are one with God, that you are a child of God. You are a magnificent soul. You empower yourself with your great light and presence within you. And you say to your own self, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. Feel that energy, the fifth dimensional frequency of love coming through you now, also activating each and every one of your cells and sparking the divine in each and every one of your cells. So you feel that tingling, beautiful energy pulsating through you. And that you know who you are. Yeah. Breathe that in. Get that on. Breathe and bring it down to the bottom of your lungs, into your belly. Feel all of that breath, that divine breath, that spark of life come into your body as you breathe it in. And as you release, you let go of everything that is not of God. Breathe in and exhale. All that is not of God. All that is not the great I am presence in which you encompass within your higher soul and your incarnated soul and this temple that you call a body. Breathe it in. Know that you are that, and release all that is not that. Feel yourself becoming only light. Feel your body disappear. You are the light being, as if you unzipped your body's suit. And you just became that light being that you are. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing of negativity or of lower energies can touch that. As you elevate your vibration and feel every moment of your life from this moment on, the light body that you are. Oh. And silence as you listen to the Om. And the presence of peace and energy is in the gap between the Oms. Concentrate on the gap. Oh. Oh. Slowly come back into the present state. Oh. Repeat to yourself, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that. Oh. Slowly come back to your conscious. Feel your fingers and toes. Feel the chair. The body. Your consciousness back into the body. Oh. Your eyes. Be fully aware, fully awakened. Golden rods forming under your feet, going down, down, down into the earth, 10 feet, and they grow roots into the earth, letting you know that you are anchored and supported, grounded and balanced. You are whole, you are happy, you are healthy. You are your divine spark of God. You are one with God, and you are one with all. And smile. Well, I don't know about you, but I felt that very powerful. It's very strong energy coming through. And so before we end the service, I'd say namaste to all of you. Thank you so much for coming and bringing your energy and knowing that this is your cosmic family and that we are all divine beings And that we all have come to this earth to be these beautiful light beings that we are. Don't forget, are there any announcements that need to be made?
Carlos is having a sound bowl.
When is Carlos, is it today?
Carlos Brown on Friday.
Oh, on Friday. When is it, Carlos?
7 to 8:30.
Okay,
Gateway experience, sound activation, a lovely moment to activate your day.
okay. So I'm sure
Friday,
people online did not hear that, but it's Friday, 7
7 to 8:30.
to 8:30.
Friday.
It's activating the DNA. It's activating the codes, right?
Well, I'm gonna have a separate event for the chakras.
Oh,
2 weeks
sep-
after that, but.
Okay.
But it will activate, your light body, your energy body.
Okay, activating the light body and the energy body. I was going to have a workshop on the 26th, but that has been canceled, and I'll do that either next month or the month after. And then also, don't forget, brought me the gateway experience of sound as activation with Carlos. The 25th, 7th to 8:30, and to recalibrate and activate your body harmony. Sounds pretty good. Gateway process. Please bring your own pillow and arrive 10 minutes early so you can get ready. It's here at the Cosmic Center, and the admission is $25. It's cell regeneration and healing process. So sounds like a pretty lovely experience to me. And he said 2 weeks later, you're having another one?
Yeah, 2 weeks afterwards, it's September 8th, I believe, Friday, and there is all mindfulness, your natural voice. And
Okay. So 2 weeks later, on the 8th, he believes, is
Only in mindful.
toning and mindfulness. I hear it, it goes right out the door, because I'm out there somewhere still.
It's on our website.
Okay, don't forget to please, and people online too, please donate so we can keep this beautiful Cosmic Center open and have beautiful experiences like what Carlos brings, Reverend Sharon Elizabeth, myself, Reverend Nancy, and Reverend Andy, Reverend Robin, Reverend Richard, all bring to service. There's going to be more and more people that will be coming and bringing forth workshops and spiritual education. We're working on bringing like healing clinics and other things to the center. So we're getting reared up for this new transformation in the Ascension. So don't forget to help us by donating. And we all appreciate everything that you bring, as well as what the Divine Masters bring. Namaste.
Namaste.